First contact. The vast expanse of space stretched out before the UES Stargazer, humanity's most advanced exploration vessel. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge, her dark eyes scanning the holographic displays that surrounded her. The ship had been pushing the boundaries of known space for months, seeking out new worlds, and hopefully new civilizations. "Captain, we're picking up an anomalous energy signature," Lieutenant Akira Tanaka reported from his station. His fingers danced across the console, bringing up more detailed scans. "It's unlike anything we've encountered before." Elena leaned forward, her interest piqued. "Can you pinpoint the source?" Akira nodded, adjusting the main view screen. "It's coming from a system about 2 light-years away. The signature suggests advanced technology, possibly a spacefaring civilization." A ripple of excitement passed through the bridge crew. Humanity had yet to encounter another intelligent species in their explorations. If this signature belonged to an alien civilization, it would be a monumental discovery. "Plot a course, Lieutenant," Elena ordered. "Let's go say hello to our new neighbors." As the Stargazer approached the system, the crew's excitement grew. Scans revealed a bustling solar system with multiple inhabited planets and massive orbital structures. At the center of it all was a colossal space station, easily 10 times the size of anything humanity had built. "My God," whispered Commander David Chen, the ship's XO. "Look at the scale of that thing." Elena nodded, her mind racing with the implications. "Whoever built this is far more advanced than us. We need to proceed with caution." She turned to her communications officer. "Lieutenant Park, prepare a standard greeting message. Let's see if they're in a talkative mood." Before Park could transmit the message, a beam of energy lanced out from the station, enveloping the Stargazer in a soft, blue glow. "Captain," Akira called out, his voice tight with tension. "We're being scanned. Their technology is cutting through our shields like they're not even there." Elena gripped the arms of her chair. "Steady, everyone. Let them look. We've got nothing to hide." The scan lasted for several tense minutes before the blue glow faded. Then, without warning, a holographic image materialized on the bridge. It depicted a tall, slender being with iridescent skin and large, multifaceted eyes. When it spoke, the universal translator struggled to keep up. "Greetings, explorers. I am High Commander Zixera of the Haelor Empire. Your presence in our space was unexpected." Elena stood, facing the hologram. "I am Captain Elena Rodriguez of the United Earth ship Stargazer. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." Zixera's head tilted, an oddly bird-like motion. Peace, friendship, curious concepts from a species venturing so far from their home. "We are explorers," Elena explained. "Our mission is to seek out new life and new civilizations, to learn and grow through peaceful exchange." The Haelor commander seemed to consider this. "Your technology is primitive by our standards, yet you've managed to traverse great distances. Intriguing." Elena bristled slightly at the dismissive tone, but kept her composure. "We may be less advanced in some areas, but we have much to offer. Perhaps we could arrange a cultural exchange." Zixera's multifaceted eyes glittered. "Perhaps. You will be allowed to dock at our station. We will assess your potential." As the hologram faded, Elena turned to her crew. "Well, that could have gone better, but it's a start. Commander Chen, prepare a diplomatic team. Let's show these Haelor what humanity has to offer." The Stargazer docked at the massive Haelor station, dwarfed by the alien architecture. As Elena led her team through the airlock, they were met by a delegation of Haelor officials. Up close, the aliens were even more striking. Tall and graceful, with skin that shimmed like opals in the light. "Welcome to Nexus Prime," Zixera greeted them. "Please follow me. There is much to discuss." As they walked through the station, Elena and her team marveled at the advanced technology on display. Gravity seemed to shift at will, and surfaces morphed and changed as needed. It was clear that the Haelor were centuries, if not millennia, ahead of humanity in many areas. They were led to a vast chamber that seemed to be a combination of a conference room and a museum. Holographic displays showcased the history and achievements of the Haelor Empire. For 10,000 years, we have ruled this sector of space, Zix-Era explained. We have brought order and progress to countless worlds. Elena nodded, taking it all in. Impressive. We have much we could learn from you. Zix-Era's expression was unreadable. Indeed. But what could your young species possibly offer us in return? Humanity may be young, Elena countered, but we are adaptable, creative, and determined. We've overcome great challenges to reach the stars. We offer fresh perspectives, new ideas, and a genuine desire for peaceful cooperation. The Haelor delegates conferred among themselves, their musical language beyond the ability of the universal translators to decipher. Finally, Zix-Era turned back to Elena. We will consider your words, Captain Rodriguez. For now, you and your crew may explore designated areas of the station. We will reconvene to discuss potential arrangements. As the Haelor left, Commander Chen leaned close to Elena. I don't like this, Captain. They're treating us like children at best, potential threats at worst. Elena nodded, her expression grim. I know, David, but we need to make this work. The potential benefits of a peaceful relationship with the Haelor are too great to ignore. Keep the crew on their best behavior. We need to prove we're worthy of their respect. Over the next few days, the crew of the Stargazer explored the wonders of Nexus Prime. They marveled at zero-gravity gardens filled with bioluminescent plants, studied holographic star charts that spanned galaxies, and sampled exotic cuisines that challenged their very concept of food. But beneath the wonder, tensions simmered. The Haelor, while not openly hostile, remained aloof and condescending. They answered questions with vague generalities and steered conversations away from anything of real substance. On the fourth day, Elena was summoned to meet with the Haelor High Council. As she entered the Grand Chamber, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was walking into the lion's den. Captain Rodriguez, Zix-Era greeted her. We have reached a decision regarding your species. Elena straightened her uniform, standing tall. And what have you decided, High Commander? The Haelor Empire has ruled this sector for millennia. Zix-Era began. We have brought peace and prosperity to countless worlds. Your arrival presents a complication. Elena's heart sank, but she kept her voice steady. How so? We've done nothing but offer friendship and cooperation. Perhaps, another counselor interjected. But your very existence disrupts the balance we have worked so hard to maintain. Your species is young, unpredictable. You lack the wisdom to properly wield the knowledge you seek. With all due respect, Elena countered, her temper flaring. You can't judge an entire species based on a few days of limited interaction. Humanity has overcome tremendous odds to reach the stars. We've united our world, ended poverty and disease, and developed technologies that allow us to explore the galaxy. We may be young, but we are not children to be dismissed. The council chamber fell silent, the Haelor delegates regarding Elena with a mixture of surprise and something that might have been respect. Zix-Era spoke again, his tone measured. Your passion is admirable, Captain. But passion alone is not enough. The Council has decided that humanity is not yet ready for full integration into the galactic community. You will be allowed limited trade and cultural exchange, but you must remain within your current territorial boundaries. Elena felt a cold anger settling in her chest. And if we refuse these terms, if we continue to explore and expand, the High Commander's multifaceted eyes glittered dangerously. Then you will face the full might of the Haelor Empire. For the good of all, we cannot allow an uncontrolled element to disrupt the peace we have built. Elena took a deep breath, weighing her words carefully. I will convey your decision to my superiors, but know this, humanity will not be confined. We will continue to grow, to explore, and to reach for the stars. If you won't accept us as equals, then we'll prove our worth through our actions." With that, she turned and strode from the chamber, her mind racing. As she made her way back to the Stargazer, Delina knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization had not gone as hoped, but they wouldn't be deterred. The Haelor Empire had made their position clear. Now, it was up to humanity to show the galaxy what they were truly capable of. Diplomatic tensions. In the months following the Stargazers' encounter with the Haelor Empire, Earth's governments and scientific communities worked tirelessly to process the wealth of information brought back by Captain Rodriguez and her crew. The revelation that humanity was not alone in the universe, and that they were considered primitive by their galactic neighbors, sent shockwaves through society. Dr. Samantha Reeves, Earth's leading xenoanthropologist, stood before the United Nations Security Council, her holographic presentation filling the chamber with images of Haelor technology and culture. "The Haelor Empire represents both our greatest opportunity and our most significant threat," she explained. "Their technological advancements could revolutionize every aspect of our civilization. However, their dismissive attitude towards humanity poses a severe diplomatic challenge." UN Secretary General Adebayo leaned forward, his brow furrowed. "What are our options, Dr. Reeves? How do we prove our worth to a civilization that sees us as little more than children?" Samantha sighed, running a hand through her silver hair. "We need to be strategic. The Haelor have agreed to limited trade and cultural exchange. We should use these opportunities to showcase human innovation and adaptability. At the same time, we must continue our own technological development and exploration efforts. We can't allow the Haelor to dictate the terms of our growth." The debate raged for hours, with arguments for caution warring against calls for more assertive action. In the end, a compromise was reached. Earth would establish a permanent diplomatic mission to the Haelor Empire, seeking to build bridges and prove humanity's potential. Simultaneously, resources would be poured into advancing human technology and expanding their presence in space. 6 months later, the newly christened UES Horizon approached Nexus Prime. Unlike the exploration-focused Stargazer, the Horizon was a purpose-built diplomatic vessel, showcasing the best of human engineering and design. At its helm stood Ambassador Marcus Chen, brother of the Stargazer's XO, and one of Earth's most skilled negotiators. As the Horizon docked, Marcus couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the scale and beauty of the Haelor station. But he quickly pushed those feelings aside, focusing on the task at hand. He had a civilization to win over. The reception from the Haelor was polite but cool. High Commander Zixera greeted Marcus with the same aloof demeanor he had shown Captain Rodriguez months earlier. "Welcome, Ambassador Chen," Zixera intoned. "We trust your journey was uneventful." Marcus smiled, refusing to be baited by the subtle condescension. "Thank you, High Commander. We're grateful for the opportunity to establish a more permanent presence here on Nexus Prime. I look forward to fostering greater understanding between our peoples." Over the next few weeks, Marcus and his team worked tirelessly to engage with the Haelor. They organized cultural exhibitions, showcasing human art, music, and literature. They presented scientific papers on human advancements in fields ranging from quantum computing to renewable energy. They even arranged culinary exchanges, introducing the Haelor to the diverse flavors of Earth cuisine. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, attitudes began to shift. Some of the younger Haelor showed genuine interest in human culture, fascinated by the creativity and passion that seemed to define the species. A few Haelor scientists expressed admiration for human problem-solving approaches, noting that while their technology might be less advanced, their methodologies were often innovative and unexpected. But for every step forward, there seemed to be 2 steps back. The Haelor High Council remained skeptical of humanity's potential, viewing their efforts as quaint at best, potentially destabilizing at worst. Trade negotiations stalled as the Haelor insisted on heavily restricted technology transfers, citing concerns about humanity's readiness for advanced knowledge. Tensions came to a head 3 months into the diplomatic mission. A human freighter, the SS Magellan, suffered a catastrophic engine failure while transporting goods through Haelor space. Despite having prior clearance for their route, the ship found itself stranded in a restricted sector. Rather than offer assistance, the Haelor Defense Force surrounded the crippled vessel, demanding its immediate surrender and impoundment. The captain of the Magellan, a veteran trader named Aisha Kazemi, refused to abandon her ship and crew to Haelor custody. As the standoff escalated, news reached Nexus Prime. Ambassador Chen rushed to the High Council chamber, seeking an urgent audience with Zixara and the other leaders. High Commander, Marcus began, fighting to keep his voice level. I implore you to reconsider your actions. The Magellan's presence in restricted space was an accident, not an act of aggression. Surely we can resolve this situation peacefully. Zixara's multifaceted eyes glittered coldly. Your ship violated our sovereignty, Ambassador. The penalties for such transgressions are clear. Marcus took a deep breath, choosing his next words carefully. With all due respect, High Commander, this incident highlights the need for better communication and cooperation between our peoples. The Magellan had proper clearance for its route. If there were changes to restricted zones, that information was not conveyed to human authorities. He paused, letting his words sink in. This is an opportunity, High Commander. An opportunity to show that the Haelor Empire is not just powerful, but wise and compassionate. Help us repair the Magellan, and we can turn this potential crisis into a moment of unity. The council chamber fell silent as the Haelor leaders conferred among themselves. Marcus waited, his heart pounding, knowing that the future of human-Haelor relations might hinge on this moment. Finally, Zixara spoke. Your words have merit, Ambassador. We will allow your engineers to assist in repairing the Magellan. But know this. Any future incursions into restricted space will be met with the full force of Haelor law. Marcus nodded, relief washing over him. Thank you, High Commander. We appreciate your understanding in this matter. As he left the chamber, Marcus knew that while a crisis had been averted, the underlying tensions remained. The incident with the Magellan had exposed the fragility of human-Haelor relations and the vast power imbalance between the two civilizations. Back on the horizon, Marcus composed a lengthy report to Earth's leadership. The message was clear. While diplomatic efforts would continue, humanity needed to accelerate its technological development and expansion. They couldn't afford to remain dependent on the Haelor's goodwill. As he looked out at the stars, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. Humanity needed to prove its worth to the galaxy, and soon. Otherwise, they risked being left behind, or worse, crushed under the heel of the Haelor Empire. Little did he know, events were already in motion that would change the course of human-Haelor relations forever. The true test of humanity's resolve was just beginning. The Haelor's fatal mistake. The UES Artemis glided silently through the inky blackness of space, its sleek design a testament to humanity's rapidly advancing technology. Captain Zura Merchant stood on the bridge, her dark skin contrasting with the stark white of her uniform. Her eyes, sharp and alert, scanned the holographic displays surrounding her command chair. Status report, Lieutenant Kumar, Zara ordered, her voice calm but authoritative. Lieutenant Raj Kumar, the ship's sensor officer, responded promptly. All systems nominal, Captain. We're maintaining course to the Epsilon Eridani colony. ETA is 72 hours at current speed. Zara nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. The Artemis was Earth's newest colony ship, carrying 5,000 settlers to humanity's farthest outpost. It represented hope, ambition, and a statement to the galaxy, and particularly to the Haelor Empire, that humanity would not be contained. Captain, Kumar's voice cut through her thoughts, a note of concern evident. I'm detecting multiple ships on an intercept course. Configuration is Haelor. Zara's smile vanished. Time to intercept. 20 minutes, Captain. Hail them, Zara ordered, straightening in her chair. Let's see what they want. Moments later, the familiar holographic form of a Haelor official materialized on the bridge. But this wasn't the aloof diplomat Zara had expected. The alien's iridescent skin seemed to pulse with agitation, its multifaceted eyes glittering with what could only be described as anger. "This is Sub-Commander Vexlor of the Haelor Defense Force." The alien's translated voice rang out. "Your vessel is in violation of the terms set forth by the High Council. You will power down your engines and prepare to be boarded." Zara's eyes narrowed. "This is Captain Zara Merchant of the UES Artemis. We are on a sanctioned colonization mission to a system well within human territory. We have broken no laws or agreements." Vexlor's form shimmered, his agitation growing. "Your expansion ends here, human. The High Council has deemed your species a threat to galactic stability. You will comply or face the consequences." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. "Battle stations," Zora commanded, her voice tight. "Shields up, weapons on standby. But do not, I repeat, do not fire unless fired upon." The Artemis hummed with activity as the crew rushed to their positions. Zara's mind raced. This was unprecedented. The Haelor had been dismissive, even condescending, but never openly hostile. What had changed? "Multiple weapon locks detected," Kumar shouted. "They're charging weapons." Zara's decision was instant. "Evasive maneuvers. Get us out of here. Maximum speed." The Artemis lurched as it veered off course, narrowly avoiding the first volley of Haelor energy weapons. But the colony ship, while advanced, was no match for the speed and firepower of dedicated Haelor warships. "Hull breach on Deck 7. The damage control officer reported. Sealing emergency bulkheads." Zara gripped the arms of her chair. "Send out a distress call on all frequencies, and get me a secure line to Earth Command. They need to know what's happening here." As the battle raged, Zara realized with growing horror that this was no mere border skirmish. The Haelor weren't trying to disable the Artemis. They were trying to destroy it. With 5,000 civilian lives at stake, she knew she had to buy time. "Divert all non-essential power to shields and engines," she ordered, "and prepare to launch our complement of probes. Let's give them some false targets to chase." The Artemis shuddered under another barrage of Haelor fire. Warnings blared across the bridge as systems failed and casualties mounted. But Zara's crew fought on, their determination a testament to the human spirit. Hours passed in a blur of explosions, emergency repairs, and desperate maneuvers. Just when it seemed the Artemis could take no more, a new voice crackled over the comm system. "This is Admiral Chen of the UES Defiant. Hold on, Artemis. The cavalry has arrived." Zara almost wept with relief as she saw the massive form of Earth's flagship drop out of faster-than-light travel, flanked by a dozen other warships. The Haelor, caught off guard by the human reinforcements, quickly retreated. In the aftermath of the battle, as emergency teams worked to stabilize the Artemis and treat the wounded, Zara met with Admiral David Chen. The same David Chen who had served as XO on the Stargazer during humanity's first contact with the Haelor. "It's worse than we thought, Captain," Chen said grimly. "This wasn't an isolated incident. The Haelor have launched attacks on multiple human outposts and colonies. It's war." Zara's fists clenched at her sides. "But why? Why now?" Chen's expression was grim. "Intelligence suggests they've grown threatened by our rapid advancement. In the years since first contact, we've closed the technological gap faster than they anticipated. They're trying to cut us down before we can truly challenge their dominance." Zara nodded, her jaw set with determination. "Then they've made a fatal mistake, Admiral. They thought to catch us off guard, to crush us before we could defend ourselves. But they've underestimated humanity's resolve." "That they have, Captain," Chen agreed. "Earth is already mobilizing. Every ship, every resource we have is being directed towards this fight. The Haelor thought to end us, but they've only succeeded in uniting humanity like never before." As Zara looked out at the stars, she knew that the real battle was just beginning. The Haelor had technological superiority and centuries of galactic dominance on their side, but humanity had something they lacked: the burning desire to prove themselves, to overcome impossible odds, and to carve out their place in the cosmos. The Haelor's attack on the Artemis wasn't just an act of aggression, it was the spark that would ignite humanity's indomitable spirit. In their attempt to extinguish the human threat, the Haelor had inadvertently forged their greatest enemy. As emergency repairs were completed and the Artemis limped towards the safety of human space, Zara made a silent vow. The Haelor would rue the day they underestimated humanity. This war might have begun with a Haelor attack, but it would end with a human victory. The galaxy was about to learn just how fierce humanity could be when pushed to the brink. The battle for the future of the human race had begun. Humanity strikes back. The war room of the Terran Defense Force headquarters buzzed with activity. Holograms flickered, displaying star charts, battle plans, and real-time feeds from the front lines. At the center of it all stood Admiral Haelor Rodriguez, her face etched with determination. Once the captain of the Stargazer during humanity's first contact with the Haelor, she now found herself leading Earth's forces in a war for survival. Status report. Elena barked, her eyes scanning the tactical displays. Colonel Akira Tanaka, her former lieutenant and now head of strategic operations, stepped forward. The Haelor have pushed us back in the Proxima Centauri system, Admiral, but their advance has slowed. Our new shield technology is holding better than expected. Elena nodded, a grim smile on her face. Good. It's time we showed them what humanity is truly capable of. Is Project Phoenix ready? Akira's eyes gleamed. Yes, Admiral. The prototype is prepped and the volunteer pilots are standing by. Then let's make history, Elena declared. Initiate Operation Lazarus. Across the room, Dr. Samantha Reeves, the xenoanthropologist who had once briefed the UN on Haelor culture, now stood beside a holographic representation of a sleek, almost organic-looking spacecraft. The Phoenix-class fighter, she explained to the assembled military leaders, represents the pinnacle of human biomechanical engineering. By integrating genetically engineered plant matter with our most advanced AI systems, we've created a ship that can adapt and evolve in real time to combat situations. Murmurs of amazement rippled through the crowd. This was far beyond anything humanity had achieved before the war. The constant pressure of Haelor attacks had forced innovation at an unprecedented pace. In a hidden hangar deep beneath the Martian surface, Captain Zora Merchant stood before her squadron. After surviving the Haelor's attack on the Artemis, she had volunteered to lead the first Phoenix squadron into battle. I won't lie to you, Zora addressed her pilots, her voice steady and strong. What we're about to do is dangerous. These ships are untested in real combat, but they represent our best hope of turning the tide against the Haelor. Each of you was chosen for your skill, your adaptability, and your unwavering courage. Today, we show the galaxy what humans are made of. The pilots cheered, their faces a mix of determination and fierce pride. As one, they'd moved to their ships, biomechanical marvels that pulsed with an almost lifelike energy. Zara settled into the cockpit of her Phoenix, feeling the ship come alive around her. Neural interfaces connected her mind directly to the ship's systems. It wasn't just a vehicle, it was an extension of her very being. Phoenix Squadron, this is Control. Admiral Rodriguez's voice came through the comm. You are clear for launch. Give 'em hell. The hangar doors slid open, revealing the rust-red Martian sky. With a thought from Zara, her ship surged forward, leading the squadron into the atmosphere and beyond. As they broke free of Mars gravity, a wormhole generator, another recent breakthrough, spun to life before them. All ships, prepare for jump, Zara commanded. Remember your training. Let the ship's eye assist, but trust your instincts. We're about to rewrite the rules of engagement. The squadron plunged into the wormhole, emerging moments later in the heart of a raging battle near Alpha Centauri. Haelor warships dominated the space around them, their energy weapons carving swaths of destruction through the human defense fleet. But not for long. The Phoenix fighters swooped into the fray, their biomechanical forms shifting and adapting as they flew. Weapons that had torn through conventional shields seemed to slide off the Phoenix's hulls. The ships dodged and weaved with impossible agility, striking at the Haelor vessels with pinpoint accuracy. Zara's mind melded with her ship, anticipating threats before they materialized. She danced through the battlefield, her weapons finding weaknesses in Haelor defenses that no conventional targeting system could have detected. "This is Phoenix Lead," Zara reported, her voice tight with controlled excitement. "Confirmed kills on 3 Haelor cruisers. Their point defense can't track us." Across the battlefield, human ships rallied around the Phoenixes. The tide of battle began to turn. Haelor vessels, for the first time since the war began, were in full retreat. Back in the war room, Alina watched the feeds with a mixture of awe and fierce pride. "Send in the second wave," she ordered. "Let's press our advantage." As reports of the battle spread, a surge of hope swept through human space. The Phoenix fighters became a symbol of humanity's resilience and ingenuity. Recruitment centers were flooded with volunteers, eager to join the fight. Factories worked around the clock, adapting the biomechanical technology for everything from medical applications to terraforming equipment. But the war was far from over. The Haelor, stung by their defeat, withdrew to regroup and analyze this new threat. Their vast empire still possessed resources and technology that dwarfed humanity's capabilities. In the quiet of her quarters, Alina reviewed the latest intelligence reports. The Haelor were mobilizing on a scale not seen in millennia. Whatever came next would determine the fate of both species. "We've bloodied their nose," Alina mused to herself. "Now we need to be ready for the real fight." She pulled up a classified file, one known only to a handful of individuals across human space. The label read simply, Project Prometheus. As Alina delved into the details of humanity's most ambitious undertaking yet, she allowed herself a small smile. The Haelor had awakened a sleeping giant. They had sought to extinguish the human race, but instead they had sparked a fire that would reshape the galaxy. The next phase of the war was about to begin, and humanity was ready to take the fight to the heart of the Haelor Empire itself. An unexpected alliance. The vast chamber of the Haelor High Council thrummed with tension. High Commander Zixara, once dismissive of humanity's potential, now stood before his peers, his iridescent skin dulled with fatigue and worry. "The humans have pushed us back in 17 systems," Zixara reported, his voice tight. "Their biomechanical technology has neutralized many of our traditional advantages. We underestimated them, and now we pay the price." Murmurs of discontent rippled through the assembled counselors. One, a grizzled veteran named Krelvin, rose to speak. "Then we must unleash the Omega Protocol. It is time to remind these upstarts of their place in the cosmic order." Zixara's multifaceted eyes dimmed. "The Omega Protocol. But the consequences are necessary," Krelvin interrupted. "The humans have proven themselves too dangerous to be allowed to exist. We must do what is needed to preserve our empire." As the council debated, none noticed the small, spider-like drone clinging to the shadows of the vaulted ceiling. Its crystal eyes recorded every word, transmitting the data across vast distances to a most unexpected recipient. Deep in the heart of human space, on a secret station hidden within the rings of Saturn, Admiral Alina Rodriguez reviewed the intel with growing horror. Beside her stood an unlikely ally, Vexlor, the same Haelor sub-commander who had once attacked the Artemis, now a defector to the human cause. "The Omega Protocol," Vexlor explained, his voice heavy with dread. "It's a weapon of last resort, designed to reconfigure space-time itself. It could wipe out entire sectors of the galaxy, erasing them from existence." Alina's jaw clenched. "And they're willing to use this to potentially destroy themselves along with us." Vexlor's skin rippled with what Alina had learned was the Haelor equivalent of a sad smile. "Fear makes monsters of us all. Admiral. My people have ruled for so long, they can't conceive of a galaxy where they're not in control. Elena nodded, her mind racing. Then we have no choice. We must initiate Project Prometheus ahead of schedule. She turned to the holographic display, where the image of a massive ring-shaped structure floated in space. Vexlor, your knowledge of Haelor defenses has been invaluable. But I need to know, are you prepared to go all the way with this? To potentially fight against your own people? The Haelor straightened, his eyes gleaming with determination. The Haelor Empire I swore to protect died the moment they considered using the Omega Protocol. I stand with humanity, Admiral. Whatever it takes. Across human space, shipyards worked at fevered pitch. The Phoenix fighters, so successful in turning the tide of the war, were now joined by capital ships incorporating the same biomechanical technology. But the true focus of human efforts was the massive structure taking shape in orbit around Jupiter. Dr. Samantha Reeves stood on the observation deck of the construction platform, marveling at the fruit of her life's work. What had begun as theoretical xenanthropology had evolved into the most ambitious engineering project in human history. Magnificent, isn't it? A voice said behind her. Samantha turned to see Captain Zora Merchant, hero of a dozen battles, approaching. Samantha nodded. It's hard to believe we've come so far in such a short time. The Crucible is unlike anything humanity, or the Haelor, have ever created. Zora's eyes gleamed as she gazed at the massive ring. A device capable of manipulating the fundamental forces of the universe itself. Let's hope it works as designed. It has to, Samantha replied softly. It's our only hope of stopping the Omega Protocol without destroying half the galaxy in the process. The final battle unfolded in the space between stars. The combined fleets of humanity, bolstered by Haelor defectors who had heard Vexlor's call to reason, faced off against the massed forces of the Haelor Empire. At the heart of the human formation, the Crucible pulsed with barely contained energy. On the bridge of the flagship Defiant, Admiral Rodriguez watched the enemy approach. All ships assumed defensive formation around the Crucible. Vexlor, status of the Haelor fleet. The Haelor, now serving as Elena's tactical advisor, studied the holographic display. They're moving into position to deploy the Omega Protocol. We have minutes at most. Elena nodded grimly. Then we have no choice. Dr. Reeves, you may fire when ready. Samantha's voice came through the comm, steady despite the weight of the moment. Understood, Admiral. Initiating Crucible activation sequence. The massive ring began to spin, arcs of energy coruscating along its surface. As the Haelor fleet opened fire, their energy weapons seeming to distort and bend as they approached the Crucible. It's working. Vexlor exclaimed. The Crucible is warping spacetime, just as we theorized. Their weapons can't penetrate the field. Elena allowed herself a small smile. Then it's time for Phase 2. All Phoenix squadrons, you are clear to engage. Protect the Crucible at all costs. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations. Human bioships danced between lumbering Haelor cruisers, their impossible maneuvers leaving the enemy firing at ghosts. The Crucible's energy field expanded, enveloping more and more of the battlefield. And then, at the height of the chaos, a blinding flash erupted from the heart of the Haelor fleet. The Omega Protocol had been activated. For a moment, it seemed as if all of space held its breath. Then, impossibly, the destructive wave of the Omega Protocol began to curve and distort. Like water circling a drain, the energy was drawn inexorably towards the Crucible. By the ancestors, Vexlor whispered, it's containing the blast. The Crucible spun faster, its energy field pulsing with the combined power of human ingenuity and the Haelor's doomsday weapon. For a terrifying moment, it seemed as if the device might be overwhelmed. But then, with a final, reality-shaking pulse, the Crucible stabilized. The Omega Protocol's energy was absorbed, leaving stunned silence in its wake. In the aftermath, as the Haelor fleet stood down, messages of surrender flooding the human comm channels, Elena turned to Vexilor. "It's over," she said softly. "We did it." The Haelor nodded, his eyes filled with a mixture of relief and sorrow. "Indeed. But now the real work begins. Our peoples have much healing to do." In the years that followed, the galaxy witnessed a transformation unlike any in its long history. The Haelor Empire, humbled by defeat and shamed by the near use of the Omega Protocol, underwent a cultural revolution. With the help of human diplomats and the Haelor who had allied with humanity, a new government was formed, one dedicated to cooperation rather than domination. The Crucible, its purpose served, was not dismantled. Instead, it became the heart of a new galactic center, a neutral ground where species from across the cosmos could meet and share knowledge. As for humanity, they had proven themselves beyond any doubt. Their ingenuity, adaptability, and indomitable spirit had not only saved them from extinction, but reshaped the very nature of galactic civilization. On the observation deck of the new Galactic Council station, built in the shadow of the Crucible, Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood beside High Chancellor Vexilor, watching ships from 100 worlds come and go. "Did you ever imagine it would end like this?" Elena asked, a hint of wonder in her voice. Vexilor's skin shimmered with amusement. "Never. But then, I never imagined meeting a species quite like humanity. You've taught us all that the greatest strength lies not in domination, but in unity, in embracing the unknown rather than fearing it." Elena nodded, her gaze fixed on the stars beyond. "And there's still so much out there to explore, to learn." "Indeed," Vexilor agreed, "and we'll face it together, as allies, as friends. The galaxy will never be the same, and that, I think, is a very good thing." As they stood there, human and Haelor side by side, the Crucible pulsed gently behind them, a testament to the day humanity proved its worth to the galaxy and to the boundless potential of cooperation between worlds. The end of one chapter and the beginning of an even greater adventure.